Hi guys, I am Mayank, founder of To Be Honest Foods. We are a new age snacking brand with a product portfolio of real vegetable and fruit snacks. We use a technology called vacuum frying, which helps us in retaining all the goodness of the vegetables and fruits, just making them crunchy and super delicious to eat. Currently, we are selling through omni channels, we offline, online, Horeca like Taj, Oberoi's, Inox, and also exporting to various countries, Qatar, Dubai, Singapore, etc. When we crossed 50, 60 orders a day, at that time, there were two main burning questions. One was to get the logistic cost down, because that's when it starts hitting you. And second is to increase the customer experience and basically to get the product faster to the customer in the right packaging without any damages. So when we talk about cost, so cost can be reduced. There are three ways. One is getting the packaging right. So being a snack brand, the volumes of our products were quite high vis-a-vis the price of the product. So we had to be very sure that the 500 gram pack is a 500 gram pack, and our pouches, the snack pouches, were designed in a way that we can maximize the volume inside that 500 gram pack. Same for other dimensions. And this way, we were able to reduce our logistic cost from close to 25% to 17% of our billing value. When it comes to logistics, we had worked with multiple aggregators earlier, but there was one basic issue that we would always face was the weight mismatch. Because being a volumetric product, even a 1 millimeter extra would cost us, say, for another next slab. So for that, we tried and we basically solved it using working together with the aggregators and standardizing our packaging sizes and getting them verified with the aggregator before supplying it to them. And third, which was a major issue for us, were returns. Because, and especially being in the food category, the returns were really hitting our bottom line. So to solve the return issue, we started working on we firstly discontinued our COD orders. And to our surprise, we saw not much decrease in our numbers. And a lot of customers were like, we would like to go for a COD. So for that, we basically restarted it, but with a heavy fees on COD, so that most of the orders are prepaid and our returns can go down. So from 12% returns, currently we are working, I would say, at 2 to 3% returns. So on the cost part, we were able to achieve a lot of things. I would say, firstly, if you're starting fresh, whatever product you are designing or your product that you're coming up with, the packaging, the pricing has to be as per the D2C, because one thing is for sure, the cost of logistics is still high in India. So if your products are not designed as per a D2C to make it a clear D2C winner, you will have a little issues, and specifically when you are scaling up. So the entire product innovation and designing and packaging should be keeping in mind the logistics and the warehousing. So I believe D2C has taken off in India, specifically in last 2 to 3 years. And I believe there are three basic pillars if you want to create a great D2C brand. One is the product innovation or the product itself. Because I believe until unless your product is firstly different from the competitors, there's a high chance that it will be copied, and getting scale would be really difficult. So you have to be constantly innovating on your product side. Secondly is the brand value or the brand recall that you create. Because being in the FMCG sector, brand is one of the biggest assets that you are creating. And if you want to scale up in the future, it is the brand loyalty that you will create, which will help you in scaling up. And once you have the brand loyalty going, you can keep adding and expanding your product lines, which a lot of successful D2C brands currently, be it Yoga Bar, be it Mamaearth, they are able to do. Once, because they have created that brand loyalty and the brand recall. And thirdly, again, in any FMCG any FMCG brand, which has been true since very long, is the distribution infrastructure that you create. So, frankly, D2C is there's an easier solution for all the distribution infrastructure compared to an offline distribution infrastructure. But in India, the problem is India being the seventh largest country in the world, it's huge geographically. So fulfilling orders from Delhi to say a Chennai or a Ahmedabad or a Siliguri becomes a real challenge. So we are looking for there has to be service providers locally, area-wise, metros, maybe state capitals, which can provide us the services like FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, and we can deliver the products much faster and cater to a much bigger audience around India. I would say if you're talking about distribution and infrastructure, all the successful brands have been able to get that logistic piece, like the logistic cost, they basically minimize the logistic cost in the entire scheme of things. And you talk about successful D2C brands, and if you see the cost of logistics to the total cost of the product, that's close to, I would say, 8 to 10%. And if you're able to do that, then at least the first problem is solved. Then you can scale up profitably. And second part is getting their, again, the same thing, that distribution infrastructure, getting their warehouses and getting the tie-ups at the warehouses, and so that the delivery can be much faster. So I would say if we are able to get that logistic cost to around 10 to 12%, and secondly, getting your delivery situation sorted, these are the two things which, with respect to the infrastructure, distribution infrastructure, which is needed. Because primarily, like all the premium brands, all the new age FMCG brands are targeting the metros or the state capitals. But if you are able to provide the delivery in time to these smaller cities and remote areas, I would say there would be an easy jump of 25 to 30% in the revenue, and the scale itself just changes completely. So a new market opens up for you. And there are buyers in these markets. And luckily during the lockdown, that's what we have seen. There are multiple buyers, there are multiple customers who are sitting in these cities and not getting access to our products. So Corona has been a blessing in disguise for us, frankly. Firstly, we became very financially prudent. Before Corona, being a funded company, our only target was the top line. We had to grow our revenues. And in that, we were not seriously looking at the bottom line. But as soon as the Corona hit, our top priority became bottom line. And we were able to reduce our burn to single-digit percentage, which used to be, I would say, way higher before that. And some of the months we have even broken even or been profitable. So that was the first. Second was the shift towards the online. So we grew more than 400% in the last 1 year. Just D2C, offline and other things are different. Just D2C, we grew 400%. And if you talk about our D2C business, purely, we are profitable at even like the EBITDA level. So that was one of the welcome things. And thirdly, specifically with respect to our products, China used to be the biggest exporter of our products to the world. But due to Corona, a lot of international buyers have approached us. And in the last 6 months, we have sent out couple of containers to Dubai. We have exported to Qatar. We have exported to Singapore. Now we are in talks with Australia, some buyers in Australia, US and UK. So for us, I guess Corona has been a blessing in disguise, though there were a lot of issues initially in the first 3-4 months, but things have worked out fine.